Welcome back. I'm Anastasia, and my mission is to build a community of acceptance and authenticity. I needed some adventure buddies for this journey of insight, and I'm glad it's you. You are all welcome here, and I'm grateful that you decided to join me. Today, I meet with Renee, a feminist leadership and cycle syncing coach, author of Cycle Sync Your Business, which we're going to talk about today, and podcast host of Cycle Advantage. You can find Renee at Renee Fieck, that's RenaeFiek, or at her website, reneefeek.com. In this episode, we talk about what motivated Renee to get into this work of cycle syncing. We talk about monthly hormone cycles versus the 24-hour hormone cycle, and we talk about why this and her book is useful and tips to get you started. I started working on building insight into the hormone cycle before I met Renee, and honestly, I feel so much more equipped and so much more confident for this journey now that we've had this conversation. So join us and let's see if we can help you build some insight today. Welcome, Renee, to Insights with Us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
I am so excited to talk about your book. So maybe we can start there because it just came out. Can you tell me what it is, what it's about? Kind of do a little promo?
For sure. So I never thought I would write a book. I never thought I would actually be talking about menstrual cycles, all of the pieces together. But, the world takes you on a journey and takes you where you're meant to be and what's supposed to happen. And I now fully believe that, like, every door, every turn that we go on is meant and designed to get us exactly where we're meant to be. So, yeah, probably about 9 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And I got what I thought was my dream job working at the Children's Hospital. And then got pregnant with my third baby all in the same month. So May of whatever year it was, like 2014, 15, somewhere around there. One of those ones long time ago, was like such a pivotal point for me in really just stepping into this place of, wow, we only live once. And am I living right now the way I want to be living? Or am I focused so much on just like one day when things get easier, one day when my kids are grown, like one day, and took us on this journey of really locking into, hey, this moment matters and this day matters. And I don't want to wait till forever until I achieve my goals or get to live the way I want to live. And so we started a business at that point in time. It was like a network marketing business. I was trying to make some extra money so that I didn't have to work so much and could be home and do the fun things and all the things, and totally burnt myself out working so hard, trying to still maintain my job, take care of my kids, build a business, like all the things. And my mentor at the time was like, hey, if you want to hit bigger goals, if you want to do more, you just have to work harder. You have to do more. I was like, I can't work harder. I cannot do any more. There's like no more left in me. And that's when I started on this journey of like, what else is out there? Like, how else can I do this? How can I manage all the things? Like, I'm an ambitious person. I love doing lots of things. I want to do all the things. Like, now I've kind of like set aside, cookie cuttering my kids' meals, like lunches and stuff like that. But at the time, I was like, I want to be able to do all those things. I just don't want to burn out doing it. And that's when I discovered how men and women are just so different, and how our menstrual cycle and our hormones directly impact how we show up every single day, not just when we're bleeding. And it's impacting every area of our lives. And that became this like passion of mine to really like dig in and learn and understand from a biological perspective, because I'm very much, I work in the hospital, I'm in the medical field, like that medical sciencey sort of component to it, but I'm also very woo and in the spiritual space too. So it was like, how can I find the balance between those two things of how women really function? And so that's kind of what the book, I was on a podcast one time just like this and interviewing a friend of mine who helps authors like get their book out there in the world. And she was like, Renee, you really need to write this book. And I was like, damn it, Courtney. Like by the end of the podcast, I was like, okay, you've convinced me. I need to write this book. And wrote the book in 2 luteal phases. And then it took a year to like edit and all the things for that, but got it out there. And it's been amazing to see the feedback people get, like just that permissioning of understanding, like, oh, this is actually what I was feeling. I just didn't know that it was actually something a part of me. Like I just thought something was wrong with me, or I didn't realize that there's this rhythm, and helping women really come into one, owning their bodies, learning about their bodies, feeling into their bodies, feeling this permission to do it in a way that really feels good with them and doesn't feel like they have to keep that force and push and burn out in the process.
I
Yeah.
love this so much. And I
Yeah.
have to say, I read the introduction of your book
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like you were looking directly into my soul.
Well, good.
Because I also have so many dreams and so many
Mm-hmm.
ideas, and I don't want to slow down, but I
Yeah.
also have chronic pain.
Yeah.
And, my body sometimes says no. Actually, a lot of the time
Yeah.
it says no, you cannot move at the speed with which your motivation wants to.
Totally.
And so I've had to slow down in a lot of different ways throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
And adding the language of this monthly cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was 100% one of those people in that myth of, well, I don't have consistent periods, so I guess I can't track it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way you separated that in this
Yeah.
book and allowed it to be something accessible for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, in all reality, like all of us are cyclical beings, right? It's not just women who bleed. It's even in some sense, it's not even just women. Like men are cyclical too. It's just that they run a different cycle. And when we look at our world and we look at like even just this week, I saw this reel come across my feed that was talking about how, the leaves that fall to the ground and how the leaves were not meant to actually be raked up and put into bags and go into the dump. The leaves were meant to create this environment for bugs and beetles and things to grow and like nourishing and putting nutrients back in the soil. And then the next that would now fertilize like the soil, but then also grow new life and help feed the animals of the next spring. And like there's such a cycle and such a process in almost anything in our worlds. And it's us that come in and muck it up and try to either stay productive all the time or to conform it to certain standards that then throws the whole rhythms off. And it really is, we are very cyclical. Our world is so cyclical. There's such a rhythm and innate need for us to be in that. So, whatever that looks like for you, like even if you read my book and you're like, man, I don't feel like it fits with my menstrual cycle or I'm whatever, like find a cycle and rhythm because that is how we are. Like that is who we are.
Well, and
Yeah,
even the motion, the cyclical motion, I'm almost imagining like an ocean wave.
totally.
And there's a metaphor that I love of if you try to just stand straight and like fight the wave, you're going to get
Mm-hmm.
smacked. And if it's a big
Mm-hmm.
wave, it might even hurt. Versus if you go with the wave a little and then let yourself come
Yeah.
back, it's that acceptance of where you are and
Mm-hmm.
permission to ebb and flow within your life.
Totally. I think, and you look at it, it's like we are the ones like trying to keep soils or like crops producing all the time. And then now those soils can't actually have the nutrient density that they once did 50 years ago. I think that's what they're like showing, that like the soils are half as nutritious as they were, like the food that's coming from them is half as nutritious as it was even like 50 years ago. It's like we keep trying to stand and not let that ebb and flow happen. And we see it over and over and over again in different ways in our world. And I think women in particular feel that so much, right? Because 50, 60, 70 years ago, women were predominantly staying at home. They were probably adjusting with their cycles pretty well. If you think about it, they're adjusting their home life, they're adjusting what they're doing and things like that. But now we have women that are going after big dreams, they're creating big careers, they're doing big things, and they're now conforming into a system that was built for men at the time, right? Like it was at the time, it was like women had their own system, men had their system. Now women have integrated into working, which is beautiful. I'm not saying like we need to go back to women staying at home. We just have to, as women in that system, recognize that that system was built for men and the way that men work, and looking at how do we adjust and modify it so that it does work with the way our bodies work too. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious because you said that
Yeah.
this started out of necessity for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
over time, you almost became the expert in it.
Yeah.
So how was it trying to adapt your system into this system made for the 24-hour cycle?
Mm. Yeah, I think at first it really clashed. And even now, like I told my clients, I've been trying to get like my mastermind in this rhythm of the moon, because the moon reflects the same rhythm that women are on. But it is so much like our world is so built in this monthly calendar system that it's, as much as I've tried to like get us on the rhythm of the moon, I'm like, I feel like I'm forcing it. It feels like I'm pushing it. So I think initially there was this essence of like, there's a lot of, we're built in our systems. We're like so integrated into the way that our world works and the way that we function, that at first it was just adapting small little changes and doing small things, that then I stacked it over time. So one of the things for me that's made the biggest difference is just syncing my exercise. My exercise alone, I feel like a whole new human being. And that feels like such an easy thing to do. Like it feels like when I'm feeling really high and I'm feeling really great, I'm going to push and do the hit workouts and the heavy strength. And I'm going to do like these really intense workouts. And then when I'm in my menstrual phase or in that luteal phase, when my body's like winding down, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to do more yoga. I'm going to go more walking. I'm going to do things that are like supportive, more in that nourishment space. And so for me, those were easy things. Like I could integrate that really easy. The schedule, my calendar, it was a little bit more fluid for a while. Like it was like, oh, this would be ideal. This is where I'd love it to be. And then reality would hit and something would happen and I have to be on a call. Like even I was telling people last week should have been my ovulation week, but my body had like gone through some changes and like was 10 days late. And so last week ended up being my menstrual phase. And so what I thought was going to be my ovulation week. So I had like 6 podcasts scheduled, 2 work or presentations that I did, like all these things. I was like a heavy stacked, this is ovulation energy week, was not. It was a menstrual phase week. And I was like smack dab in that feeling of like, oh, this is not where I want it to be. This is not how I want it to be. And so there's still, even today, a lot of that. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned out of all of it is like how to understand and listen to my body. And I think that is one of the key pieces and the key things. Like we can take our menstrual cycle, we can take these rhythms and try to force it into this box that's very still in this very masculine way of living, of this is when I should be doing something, this is how I should be doing it, here's the structure I should be doing it, this is blah 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 blah. But really ultimately at the end of the day, it's just like the stepping stone of learning to, what does my body actually need from me today, and how do I listen to my body, how do I be with my body, how do I be in my body, how do I feel, like how do I actually be really present with where I am and what's happening for me in this current moment, in this current reality. And I think that's the biggest thing. So it's been a journey for sure in that
It's
process.
so powerful too, because like you said, our brains are so primed for black and
Mm-hmm.
white. I just need to
Mm-hmm.
find the right schedule, whether it's a 24-hour, every week is the same, or a monthly, let me spread it out. Our minds go to, okay, now I have the formula, so I have to fit my life into the formula and then I'll be good.
Yeah.
But, and you write about in your book, the magic of allowing,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I emphasize deeply in this podcast
Yeah.
and just in my life of, okay, but is that what your body actually needs right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does fitting into this balance equation
Yeah.
that you have made actually work for right now?
Mm-hmm. And I think that honestly, like that's one of the biggest things we as human beings, especially today with so much technology and so many things happening, and especially like ambitious women, we've got like big goals and we want to create big things. We're always either focusing on the future of like where we want to go, what we got to get done, what we want to create, like what's coming up. Like I have 3 kids that are doing sports wazoo. And so there's constant like who's got to be where, who's got to be doing what, like, how do I make sure, like, where am I at, what's happening, like even last night I was laying in bed and I was like, oh, I didn't look at my calendar for tomorrow, because I always like to kind of like go to bed knowing what's coming tomorrow. Like, do I need to get up and take a shower first thing in the morning, or can I stay in my pajamas, like, or what is tomorrow look like? And I didn't last night, and just that feeling of not knowing what's coming, right, like left me a little unsettled. And I think that that's just how our world is built. Like, that's how who we are. And like that, but that practice of just pausing and being with ourselves and like being in this moment, and like this is like the energy that I keep talking with my clients is this like heck yes energy of like, heck yes, I am here today. Heck yes, I'm alive today. Heck yes, like I get to be with my kids or whatever it is, right? Like I get to show up with my clients. And that is the energy that we carry when we get into that like present moment right now sort of feeling, is just this like sense. Can we bubble it up and like make it bigger of like so grateful for what we have right here in this moment and where we are right now? Sad days, bad days, good days, all of the above. Like, even those sad days, it's like, wow, I'm so grateful that I actually get to feel sadness. Like, I have the contrast of sadness because sadness allows me to feel joy more intensely. Like, can we just be in these moments? And I think that's one of the missing pieces that a lot of people are feeling, just so caught in this hamster wheel and burnout, go, 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 and never.
Versus permission to letting it exist, whatever it is
Yes.
right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm curious, because you were mentioning that you had hoped it was going to be an ovulation phase and you thought it was going to be, and you made all these plans and it ended up not being.
Yeah.
But in the way the world works, especially with 3 kids, even if you plan for a slow day, I'm sure there's a lot that you're doing all the time anyway. So what does like a slow recharge menstrual phase look like for you? How do you balance the chaos of life with the I need to slow down right now?
Yeah. I think every menstrual phase is so different. And like you said, it's that like tapping into, what do I need this phase? What works for this phase? So, for me particularly, like last week was really heavy. There was a lot of things in my day. And so any break, any moment I could was between calls or recordings or whatever, was very intentional. Like I went and sat outside and ate my lunch sitting outside. I drank my coffee sitting outside. Like I wasn't at my desk, like some days in between my calls, I'd be checking on my email or getting messages done or doing something else in between. Whereas that week I did not. It was like every break, every moment I had in between was intentional. And like, how can I recharge this? Like small little things, going like just sitting outside in the sunshine makes such a huge difference. And I think we underestimate those small little things. I was like, I'm not working out this week. I'm going to allow myself just to walk at the park between soccer practices or whatever needs to be. There were a couple days, like Friday, I remember we like got suckered into a new TV show, like my whole family. And at the end of the night, I looked at my husband. I was like, when is the last time we've actually like all just sat here and watched TV? Like it's very uncommon for my whole family to just like sit and do nothing but watch TV. And even just that, like, right, like just to be sitting on the couch, like my kids and all of us there watching a TV show was an ounce of a little bit of recharge, a little bit of rest. It was this moment, even just the moment of it was, wow, this feels so like pressure released because we're not going somewhere, we're not being somewhere, we don't have to do anything. We just get to like do nothing and sit on the couch. So whatever it looks like for you or whatever you need in those weeks is going to vary. It's not going to be all the same. There are some weeks where it is so much slower, where I'll have gaps of tons of time in my day where maybe I'm going for a walk and outside with my dog and we're sitting and meditating or doing breath work or whatever. But it's, I think, less about the things that you're doing and more about the intentionality of it, of why am I choosing this? Why am I doing this? Why, like same thing, I like turned off social media. I did not check social media that week either. Like I intentionally only was in there like if I in my messages on my computer so that I could make sure I'm not missing messages from people, but I wasn't scrolling social media. I wasn't really actively on there posting anything. I was just, how can I make sure I'm doing all the things to cut the noise and really take care of me that week? And I think that is the most important piece. Yeah.
Well, and I want to emphasize something that you said that is sticking with me,
Mm-hmm.
which is that in each of those little spaces between all the chaos,
Mm-hmm.
you really did pause intentionally and have
Mm.
gratitude for that moment.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get caught up in the, but this is what I have to do next, and I have to be ready for that, and I have
Mm-hmm.
to think about this next thing, and
Mm-hmm.
ooh, I should be more productive, versus no, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to be right here with my family on this couch right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to take this break between soccer practices and walk around the park with my dog real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually, truly giving yourself permission to be in that moment so you can feel the recharge instead
Yeah.
of doing the activity but not giving yourself the permission. And then you don't
Yes.
get that same release.
Totally. I mean, I think I actually, I'm like, I'm going to say this, but like I've had this like download of wanting to create a program called Meditate Like a Mother, because I think that no matter what we do, like as moms are particularly, right? Like moms are so overwhelmed, there's so much to do. And there's this essence of how do I sit and actually meditate? But all right, I had this like, you can meditate while you're folding laundry. You can meditate while you're doing your dishes. You can meditate while you're driving the kids to school, right? It has less to do with the actual sitting and devoiding your mind of everything that's the meditative process. It's more about, like what you said, that intentionality. And so you could be doing the things. You could be going for a walk. You could be taking care of yourself. You could be meditating. You could be doing all these things and not reaping the benefits of it because you're focused on the production of the task and the actual activity rather than the presence of the activity. And so you could turn anything that you do in your life into that space that gives you that recharge, whether it's making, your kids dinners or driving people to school or whatever it might be. You could be at work or you could be sitting at your computer and actually working. And the energy that you bring into it is the biggest difference. It really is.
Oh, I love this so
Yeah.
much. And can I nerd
Yeah.
out with you just for a
Yeah.
second? Because the type of meditation that I teach all of my clients, I call it flexible meditation. Because
Mm-hmm.
so often we get stuck in this idea that meditation is I sit here and I have to get rid of the thoughts. I have to be with my
Yeah.
breath. And if there's a thought that distracts me, I have to bring it back right immediately and be
Mm-hmm.
here. But that doesn't always work. And in
Yeah.
fact, that adds pressure to the meditative practice. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I teach is so in meditation language, like you have the you that's sitting and experiencing, and then you have what they call the monkey mind, which is the part
Mm-hmm.
of you that runs around and gets distracted and has all the thoughts and all the things and all the shoulds.
Yeah.
And so, strict meditation is don't follow the monkey mind, stay here, be present, stay with your breath. What I teach is follow the monkey mind for a second. Go see
Mm-hmm.
where the monkey wants to take you. And then sit with that and be like, "Oh, I didn't even know that was on my mind. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for letting me be there." And then whenever you're ready, instead of getting sucked into the thought with your monkey, then come back to your breath and
Mm-hmm.
let your monkey go wander somewhere else and follow it, almost like you're holding the monkey's hand. You're just
Mm-hmm.
being one step removed from it so you know what's on your mind, so you know where your
Yeah.
energy is. And then it takes the pressure off of, I have to be here with my breath the whole time.
Yeah. I think that's the essence of the awareness, right? And awareness is so incredibly powerful. It's like the two A words, awareness and allow, right? Like when we're aware of what we're experiencing, right? Even just when we go back to like the menstrual cycle, when you become aware of what's actually happening with your menstrual cycle in your body, that alone creates so much freedom. That alone creates so much more permission for women because then it's like, I'm feeling so overwhelmed right now. I'm yelling at my family. I'm feeling stressed out. I'm in deep in the luteal phase. That makes sense. And it creates this like this out exhale out, right? When you start to realize like, it's not me. I'm not the crazy person. I'm not somebody who's just can't handle it this week. It's, oh, my body is actually physically in a completely different space. And so now that just awareness creates this permissioning for women that it de-escalates that overwhelm intensity almost immediately just by the awareness piece of it. So it's kind of for you, like what you're saying is like, can we go with the thought and just be aware of it? Like we're not in the thought, we're with it, we're aware of it, we're experiencing this is what's present for us. And once we become aware of it, it's like it exhales out the power that it had over you. And then it's no longer you're just caught chasing all these different thoughts. It's like we're now being very intentional about being aware of what the thought is. And that alone creates that exhale. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and allowing it to
Mhm.
exist. So
Mhm.
I'm curious about
Yeah.
the luteal phase because you
Yeah.
just mentioned it, and you mentioned at the start of this episode that you wrote the book during two luteal phases.
Mhm.
So I love almost like the rebranding of the luteal
Mhm.
phase because all
Mhm.
over social media and like modern world right now, it's like, I'm in my luteal phase, don't even look at me.
Yeah.
And it's like this angry, like, fighter is almost how
Yeah.
I see it, and that is not how you show up in the luteal phase. So can you
Yeah.
please kind of share that a little bit more with me?
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of understanding like the whole fate, like the whole cycle. So when we look at the whole cycle and we see the dance between all the different hormones, it kind of makes sense. Like they all coexist together. And the more I've dove into this work, the more I see like, oh, it's this beautiful symphony. Like it's not, what I hear from a lot of women is like they've got 2 really great weeks and then 2 really sucky bad weeks. And they wish that they could just function in these 2 really great weeks all the time. And then there's this animosity and this tension and this anger when the other 2 weeks come in and they wish they didn't have to deal with it. And even I saw this post the other day. It was like it was a guy and he was like, man, I didn't realize that women have like a week leading up to their periods when they have cramps, the week of their period, they have cramps. And then a week after, they sometimes have cramps. He's like, are you telling me these women are walking around for 3 weeks of the month with not feeling amazing and they get one good week? Like, and he was just like spoofing on it. And I was like, oh, I really hope if that is you, like, let me know. I have clients who can help you. And like women should not be experiencing cramps 3 weeks of the month. But I think that it just is helpful to understand like the whole cycle as a whole. So the menstrual phase is the phase like most of us know, right? We bleed during that phase. It's the phase when our bodies are usually the most depleted physically. So as we lose a lot of blood, it can be really fatiguing. You might, as you lose iron and things like that, like your energy is maybe the lowest. It can feel like for a lot of women, it's not as emotional as the luteal phase, but it can still feel this like I'm just slower. I don't have a lot in me, but not maybe intense in terms of emotions and things like that. But it's also I believe it's that intentional. It's causing you to slow down. Like, can you actually pause? Can you actually bring some of those intentional moments in to actually recharge, to tap into your intuition? It's your most intuitive time of the month. And so it's a really great time for that recalibration. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I see that as your visionary phase. Like that is your CEO phase. That is the time of the month when you're looking forward to the rest of the month and saying, what do I want this month to be? Like, how do I want to show up this month? Where do I want to be? Like, what goals do I have for myself? What worked really well last month? Like, what do I want to bring into this month? And like having this reset every single month to be able to cast forward where we're going creates this intentionality that I think a lot of women are missing when we're just caught in the busy of go, 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 checking. We're in this fight or flight sort of response all the time. We can't cast that vision. We're just dealing with what's immediate and what's emergent and what's right in front of us. But this is your moment to like actually set that vision forward and really cast that. And so that's one of the greatest strengths of that phase. Like it's actually one of the most powerful phases when we really start to lean into it and we really
Oh,
start to dive into it.
I
So
love this so much.
yeah, it's like really, I like, can we rewrite the story, not just of the luteal phase, but of that menstrual phase? Like so many women have these negative connotations and cultural expectations to like our periods and our period. Like we wish we had to hide them. We don't have to have them, like all the things. But when we do that, it's like we're missing out on our greatest gifts. Like I tell my clients, it's like, it's your $1 million ideas time. Like if you're looking for something that's going to be that impact, create your $1 million vision, like this is the time when it's going to come through.
Yeah, build the dream.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after you've like cast that vision, right? So like you step into that, you've rested, you've recharged, you've cast that vision, then your estrogen picks up. And estrogen is like your go hormone. So your body's like, let's go, let's execute on this. Let's start taking big action on it. Let's check off our to-dos. Let's move things forward. Let's be creative. Let's expand. Let's do all these things, like get it out there, get moving. And that's what a lot of really ambitious women love, right? You're like, let's hit the gym. Let's go. Let's commit to a new workout plan. Let's eat new foods. Let's do these big ideas. And then we reach the top of that estrogen curve right around ovulation, and we feel high as a kite. We feel confident. We feel radiant. We feel beautiful. We feel like we can communicate really well. We feel on point. Like ideas are just flowing. We connect with people. We like our bodies are literally like, mate with me. I'm so amazing. Like I feel so beautiful. And it's even like studies have shown like our smells change, like facial symmetry changes, our saliva changes, like our skin changes, like so much about us actually changes physiologically. It's like the birds and in the animal kingdom when they like puff up their feathers or they're like attracting our mates. Like we actually do that. We just don't recognize it and realize it. And then that estrogen curve dips off and then the progesterone kicks in. And when progesterone kicks in, progesterone feels very different. And this is where like the luteal phase, people are like, oh, I feel so emotional. I feel really heavy. I maybe want to burn everything down. I feel overwhelmed. If people are, I have actually mentioned it multiple times recently and people have never heard it, but like Shark Week, right? Like, have you heard of Shark Week?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say I've mentioned it lately, and people are like, "Oh, I had no idea that people call that." And I was like, "Oh, I always thought this was like a very common thing, like Shark Week." But
Yeah.
that's usually the week that people feel, right? Your partner feels it, you feel it, your kids feel it, like everybody
It's a
feels
bloodbath,
it.
metaphorically and literally.
Yes, and you're not actually bleeding. It's like the week up to the bleed that usually is the worst. And this is why so many women have bad raps with that phase because of that. There's so much tension. We create clashes. We're frustrated. We're irritated, all the things. But it's actually like such of our greatest gift. One, it brings so much of our limiting beliefs and our fears and things like that to the surface. And when we're actually aware of that, going back to that word aware, it allows us to like tap into them. And we actually get to move through them and heal them and process them and allow them to clear rather than what we really have been taught is just keep shoving it down and keep bottling it up and don't pay attention to it. Try not to be overwhelmed, try not to be frustrated. And then they just get stuffed down to the point where we're like rupturing. And so it's like it helps them bubble up and helps us become present to like, oh, I'm feeling really triggered around this. Why am I feeling triggered around this? Like, what's actually coming up for me? Sometimes it's as simple as like, hey, I'm feeling like I need a better chore system for my kids. Like, I'm tired of the socks on the floor. We need to create a system for this. And it can be as simple as just illuminating something that needs to shift or something that needs to change.
I love
Some,
this. It's an insight
sometimes
tool.
it's an insight, totally, 100%. So it's like it brings that up to the surface, allows us that insight of like what needs to shift, what needs to change, how can I just be with myself? And sometimes even just the awareness of like, I'm feeling really triggered right now. It has nothing to do with them. It's actually just all about me. And so that alone can shift your response to them instead of you lashing out at them for leaving the sock on the floor. It's now okay, I'm feeling so triggered that they left the sock on the floor. What do I need to do in me apart and aside from them altogether? Like it has nothing to do with them. The
What does
sock has
this
been on the
tell me
floor.
about how I feel about this?
Yes.
What about this pattern, this system that is
Mm-hmm.
feeling not sustainable for me anymore?
100%. And oftentimes it's like the sock has been there all month. It's not new. It's like it's been there. It's just this 1 week, it's bringing it up. So that's one piece of this. The other piece of this is it's like one of our greatest tapping into, especially if you're in business or do any sort of writing or connecting and relating to people, is it gives you a really good understanding of what other people are experiencing too. So maybe like for me, I may not be in the place of feeling overwhelmed a lot or feeling, like I can't do it all or I can't run it all or whatever. I may not be feeling that right now, but when I get to that luteal phase, it pops up again and allows me to be like, oh, this is where my clients are at. Oh, this is where my audience is at. Oh, this is what they're feeling. And so that creates this little bit of empathy and emotional connection with those people. And not necessarily like it's not the time you want to go talk to them. Like you don't want to be, like having these really deep, painful, hard conversations with people because your emotions are more operating at their height versus your logical, rational communication mind. It's like emotional mind is talking, not that person. And so sometimes it's not the greatest to have those relational conversations. But if you have to write anything, beautiful. So that's where like the book I sat down in that like heavy, this is what I'm feeling. These are the stories I want to tell. This is what I want other people to experience and feel, and was able to write that so much more effectively than when my mind would have been, if I'm in that follicular phase, is focused on creation, ideas, execution, getting things done, productive. It's not going to sit there and want to write. Like it's just your brain's in two totally different places. And what they're seeing now on MRIs is like they have tracked women's brains throughout the cycle, and different parts of our brains are more active at different phases. And so it makes 100% sense that
Yeah.
that's where we're at. So it's more about what is the strength of each of those phases? What is each one of those phases doing for you? And how do you lean into it? Because they all go together, right? We talk about like the rest is like, or the menstrual is setting the vision. Then we execute on that vision, that we're at the height of that execution. And then we hit that luteal phase. It's all about like nesting, detail oriented, wrapping things up, tidying things up, getting it all put away so that you can actually rest again.
Well,
And so
and
it's this
not
beautiful cycle.
Well, and not only that, because you were talking about how the luteal phase allows you to see maybe what is bothering you or
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be tweaked or what isn't working in your life because
Yep.
you're going to feel really emotional about the stuff that isn't working. So then when
Yes.
you go into that rest, it's not just rest, right? It's also
Yeah,
that recharging and resetting your vision, resetting your
exactly.
dream. So then you have the insight from the luteal phase, which
Mm-hmm.
you then can bring into the menstrual phase and go, now what do I
Mm-hmm.
want to do about it once I'm ready to execute?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we can go so deep in this. Like I just like I feel so like passionate that like, how much the cycle impacts the way we are. But like we look at like core needs that we have, right, as human beings. And I think like the vision one is like this our core need for recharging. Like we have a core need of rest and recharging and like connecting to if if you're believing God or the universe or source or whatever, it's like that connection of like, here is who I am, and that recharge, like connecting to something outside of yourself. Then we move into a core need of making an impact in the world, feeling like we have a sense of purpose, like we're contributing to the world. And then we move into the connection with people and our relationships, like we have a deep connect need for relationships. And then the last one is our connection to ourselves. And it's like when we go through all four of those things, when we're executing in that way, we feel complete. We feel like, wow, I've got these core needs of who I am accomplished and met and served. And I think what happens with burnout, particularly, is like we get caught in one of the phases, right? We get caught in production mode. And so we're like, produce, 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 produce. And then we're like, shoot, I don't have any friends and I haven't tapped into myself at all. Or I feel like I've disconnected from my partner or my kids or whatever, or I haven't rested or recharged at all. It's like when we're tapping into only one, we miss it out. And it's like if we are living in that cycle every single month, we don't reach that point. We feel complete in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question to go along with this because,
Yeah.
oh my God, do I feel your passion? And I do
Yeah.
think that I could just ask you 1,000 questions for the rest of the day. But as you're describing this and how each phase almost allows you to access different values of
Mm-hmm.
yours
Mm-hmm.
and kind of zooming out, you have built or attempted to build your life around the flexibility within this monthly cycle.
Yeah.
Do you feel, I'm guessing you do, feel more connected to the values that you choose to embody? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, as you've done this, as you've incorporated it, What other values has it unlocked for you that you can ground
Mm,
yourself in?
very good question. I feel like my values have changed, right, over time. And I've learned more about who I am and like what gifts and things that I'm meant to bring here into the world. And I think for a long time, I actually had this value of like family because I thought that that's what I should have is like a value, a strong value as a mom. And then I realized how much if I embrace more of the gifts and the things that I'm meant to bring into the world, that actually makes me show up better for my family. And so it's actually morphed and changed those values over time. I think, you know, I am somebody who like holds very like the value of integrity and like being in integrity with what I say I'm going to do and where I'm going to be and what I'm giving my attention to. And so the cycle has actually really enabled that to be more upfront because I can better predict where I'm going to say like yes, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be all there and that all of me is there versus committing to things and then being like, I wish I didn't have to, or wishing I could cancel, or things like that. So I think it's one helped some of those values shape and change and give me, I think it gave me permission to actually lean into the values like I feel like are really meant for me and not what I felt like the world was telling me I needed to value, if that makes sense.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you get to take that and help other people through this book,
Mhm.
through all of your other programs that I'm about to ask you about,
Yeah.
to help them find their authentic selves, what
Mhm.
values they want to embody to unlock themselves and how they show up in the world.
Yeah.
So, can
Yeah.
you tell me a little bit more about how your business has built over time?
Mhm.
What you
Yeah.
offer?
Yeah. Well, like I said at the beginning of my business, it was very much like teaching people like, here's how we put it into your calendar and here's what we do with, the different phases and how we break down our tasks. Like being an occupational therapist, like so much of my training is built in the nervous system, it's built in task analysis, it's built in so it was a beautiful blend of that. And that's where I really started. And now it's more in the space of taking that and going one step further and really helping unlock that vision for people, like unlocking that permissioning for women and helping them really step into like, here is the impact I want to make in the world. Here's the vision that I have for my life. And here's how I'm going to actually execute it in a way that feels good and sustainable and feels like a heck yes. Like it's like the coin term I use with my clients all the time is like your business should feel like a heck yes for you and it should feel heck yes for your clients. Like if you're living into that like, heck yes, this feels so good. Like, that's the change and the ripple that I want to make in the world. So, really, that's what all the mission of my business is like, can we help permission women into living that heck yes life from the inside out? And it starts with the cycle and like really learning to embody their bodies and their lives and their visions and really stepping into that space. Um, yeah. So that's
What
what I do now.
I
Yeah.
what I appreciate about that, especially with your background, is
Hmm.
that it isn't just you can do this, live your dream. It's
Hmm.
let's actually slow down functionally in
Yeah.
who you are, how your body works, and learn how your body works
Hmm.
functionally. Because that's what an
Hmm.
OT is, right? How do we make
Hmm.
you feel functional for the life that you want to live?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, adding the dream on top of it because that
Yeah.
is everything. If you are being
Mhm.
authentic, if you are living a heck yes life,
Mhm.
then people are going to feel that passion, feel that dream, and then want to show up with you and feel
Yeah,
that for themselves.
so much so. Yeah.
And honestly, that bleeds through your book.
Oh, good. I'm
It
glad to hear
really
that.
does. I can feel the passion, I can feel the acceptance.
Yeah.
So many places throughout your book, you're like, and if that doesn't fit for you, that's okay. Find what
Mhm.
does fit for you. And
Mhm.
honestly, that just feels like everything.
Mhm. Yeah, because there's so much in our world that tells us how to eat, how to sleep, how to exercise, how to work, like literally everything. There's somebody telling you how to do it. There's very few places that are actually telling you like, hey, what do you actually feel? What is actually right for you? And on top of that, like I have a big passion for leadership, like helping develop leaders. And it's funny is like leaders don't actually do what everybody else is doing. Leaders are doing things that are different, right? Like leaders are the ones that are like leading movements because they say, hey, this isn't working. This isn't working for me. This is not what I want. This is what I vision. And they're doing something totally different. So, if you're out there and you have a desire to lead a movement or to create change or to do something, like you've got to stop listening to what everybody else is doing. And you've got to listen to what you are meant to hear and ready to put into the world. Like what's proven, I hear it all the time. Well, I just followed the proven path. I'm like, well, what's proven may not be what you're meant to do. Like what you're meant to do, maybe to do something completely different. So stop trying to follow the proven path sometimes. And
Follow
that's where
your own
you'll
path.
get your magic. Yeah.
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 Oh, I love it. I've got like chills.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if there is
Yeah.
anything that we did not talk about that you feel is really important to mention.
I think the one thing would be just like, I know we kind of talked about it at the beginning, but I hear a lot from people like, I don't have a menstrual cycle, I'm pregnant or menopausal or birth control or any of that kind of stuff. And I know we kind of talked in the beginning a little bit about how it's meant for everybody, but I would just kind of highlight that again, that, that I really do believe that every human being is cyclical to some nature, and that when we tap into this rhythm, it really makes a huge difference for us. And I do talk about pieces of that in the book. So if that's where you're at, like, don't discount this. And then the other piece in that, like a little separately, was that don't listen to this and think you have to overhaul or change everything. Like it can be as simple as what we talked about, like just the awareness of it. Like that might be exactly where you're at. Maybe you don't even track your menstrual cycle right now. Maybe you don't even have any idea where your body's at. And it's like, can we just start to understand where and what's happening? And asking that question can be the first step, and then integrate things slowly and not feel like you have to overhaul everything. I think can be a really big permissioning that women need, especially in the beginning.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yes. And I want to emphasize that of just sustainable change isn't a light switch, it's a dimmer. And so if you want to overhaul your life, amazing, but you're going to have to start really small or else you will just fall right back into those old patterns.
Yeah.
So that allowing, that permission to be curious, to notice what's there, and then to let yourself show up in that way, that's going to lead to that sustainable change and following your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you wrote this book. I love that we
Thank you.
connected today. And I am so excited to see what you do next.
Yeah. I love it. Thanks for having me. It was an honor to be here.
Isn't Renee just the best? The way she has redefined each phase of the cycle, which gives us permission to show up as ourselves, shift our perspective, and be more gentle and understanding with how we are feeling in those moments. Instead of pushing through and pretending your body isn't shifting, work with your body. Be friends with your body, and you might just unlock your potential. If you want to learn more, please check out Renee's book, Cycle Sync Your Business. The link is in my Instagram bio, or you can check out her Instagram at Renee Fieck, RenaeFieck, or you can check out her website, reneefieck.com. Again, that's RenaeFieck.com. Hopefully, something we talked about today resonated with you. If it did, let yourself sit with that idea for a little while longer. If you have any questions for this podcast or any themes you'd like us to focus on in the future, send us a message on Instagram at Insights With Us Podcast, or send us an email at insightswithus@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to hear more, please follow, like, or subscribe. If you want to support the continuation of this podcast, you can donate. To do so, find me, Anastasia Soroka, on buymeacoffee.com. You can also find Insights With Us on Substack for exclusive content, including videos and other writings about my insight journey. You can find digital downloads on my website, happymindwellness.com. Thank you for being my adventure buddy. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you for creating insight with us. I would like to end by thanking one of my other affiliate partners, the Pelvic People. Everyone's bodies are different, and how we connect, I'm talking pleasure here, should not be painful. The Pelvic People are a group of healthcare providers creating products to help your body heal and find your own path to pleasure. You are not alone. Check out thepelvicpeople.com and use code INSIGHTSWITHUS7 for $7 off at checkout.